Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day. I'm very honored to have you connecting in and joining us as we lean into a powerful conversation around your story, empowerment, and your leadership. And as I was getting ready for the show, I was just thinking about leadership and what we're called to bring forward, and how deeply that ties into our story, our message, and our why. And I work with leaders and coaches and experts from all different parts of the world. And sometimes I'll have people come to me, they're looking for something. They're looking for a community or a place or a movement that looks like this, and they keep going from one place to another trying to find it. And it keeps being on their heart. And when they come to me and they've been seeking and seeking for this place to exist, this movement to exist, this group to join, I encourage them to reflect on perhaps they're the ones that are called to bring it forward. They're the ones that actually see the vision, see what could be, and are called to step into a place of leadership. It's not someone else's vision to bring forward, it's their own. And I find often when they've been doing that seeking outside, when they stop for a moment, they pause, and they breathe, and they explore that question within, frequently they are called to bring that vision forward. And they're able to bring it from this vision, someday I want it to be like this, into reality. And to do that, it takes really tapping into their story, to their why, to their skills, talents, and abilities, and becoming empowered to step into that place of leadership and shine and lead that vision forward, lead that project forward, lead that community forward. So today, as we connect in, I want you to explore, what is it that perhaps you are called to bring forward? Maybe it's not something outside of you, something that you're seeking, that you're looking for, but it's actually within you, being birthed within you, and you are having a calling on your heart, on your life, on your skills, your talents, and your abilities to bring that vision forward, to bring that project forward. It is not an accident that you have tuned into our conversation today. That means there is something here for you. And I want to invite you to receive everything that can serve you powerfully in your life, in your mission, in what you are called to bring forth. Let's just explore for a little bit, opening our minds. What is it that we are called, that you are called to step forward in just a little bit more, to bring forward, to lead? What is it that is, when you slow down and you stop and you're still, what is speaking to your heart, to your spirit? I wish someday, if only, I want the world to be like this. I want a community like this. What is it that is speaking to your heart that you are called to bring forth? Just see, what is it? What is it that is pulling at your heart and at your spirit? Just take a moment, breathe that in. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I'm actually going to have us dial this up. So those of you who are driving, please stay safe. Keep both hands on the wheels. No texting and driving. Just inwardly tuning in, opening your ears to hear, your heart to receive. Those of you who are able to, I invite you to put both feet on the floor. Feel it supporting you. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your head, bringing you all in. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Out through your mouth like through a straw. Wonderful. Eyes closed. Keep breathing. This type of breathing will help bring you present. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. Lowers your cortisol levels, your stress levels. Brings more oxygen into your heart, into your every cell of your body and your spirit. Beautiful. And in this space, eyes closed, what is it that you need? What is it that will support you, encourage you, empower you as you're looking at bringing forward what you are called to bring forward? One step at a time. What is it that you need that will encourage you, empower you, equip you to do so? Just feel into that answer. And let me add one more layer to this. What is it that you need and are willing to receive? Because we have choice. See if that shifts your need a little bit. What is it that you need and are willing to receive? And I'm going to invite you to be unattached to the how. Let whatever it is that you need be open to how it may come to you. And see if we can actually lean in with anticipation to receiving what it is that you need and be surprised and excited about how that may come to you today. Be on the lookout, eagerly waiting and receiving exactly what it is that you need. Let's breathe that in. Beautiful. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Become fully present. Eyes, ears, and heart open to and ready to receive. And write down what it is that was laid on your heart that you need and are willing to receive. I want you to keep it top of mind. It is so easy to get distracted and to forget or to miss it when it might be right in front of us. And I don't want you to miss anything that is for you, that can serve you, that can help you step forward powerfully and bring those things forward you are called to bring forward. Beautiful. So write that down. Let's take another deep breath. Lifting that up. Celebrating that we are going to receive exactly what it is that we need and are willing to receive. And in fact, I'm hoping today in our conversation, we'll be able to support you in exactly where you're at, exactly what you need so that you can move forward in powerful ways. So remember to stay fully present so that you can receive everything that is here for you. And I'm going to go around our virtual room here. We are actually connected around the world today, which is very exciting. And we have myself and Linda. We're here in California. We have Bron, who's joining us from Australia. So we literally are around the world, which is really powerful and really fun. And I want you to feel us holding the globe, holding the world together as we lean into you and into this conversation. As I go around the room here and the globe, Linda, I would love for you to share just 30 seconds or less, something that was laid on your heart when we paused for a moment and listened.
Rebecca, this is so powerful. And I have to say that what was laid on my heart is around supporting women on their journey to creating their piece of world change. I like to think of world change as a quilt, and that each of us has a quilt block that we create to change the look of the quilt. And when we don't step into that, there's a hole in the quilt that can only be filled by you.
Beautiful vision, beautiful image. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And may we all fill our block. I love that. Beautiful, yes. Beautiful. Bron, how about you? What was laid on your heart? Bron's joining us from Australia.
It was the word connection. That is a very strong word for me personally. It's one of my 3 core values. But it's also, as someone who has survived domestic abuse, disconnection is something that comes as a result of any form of abuse. So for me as a person, but also for those who are listening who've had that experience, the need to reconnect with yourself and with others is so important.
And let's just breathe that in, that deep connection. And I love how you're sharing the importance of connecting with ourselves and each other. Thank you for sharing. Listeners, how about you? What was laid on your heart when we paused for a moment and we listened? Perhaps this sharing that we've been talking about, connecting, leading forward what you are called to bring forward, and joining and filling your quilt block so you can join the quilt, the globe, as we each bring forward all that we are called to bring forward. But knowing that that is with a deep connection with ourselves and each other. As we go into this first commercial break, I want you to continue to explore what is being laid on your heart. Give yourself the gift of these next 2 minutes to be present, connect in. Really see what is being laid on your heart and your spirit. Resist the urge to run off and cross things off the to-do list. I invite you to give yourself this gift of these 2 minutes. Stay present. Pause. Breathe deeply. Receive deeply. And we will look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Voice America Women. Your passion starts here.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com and make the most of an incredible life transformation.
If you've always wanted to take the lead in your life, but you don't believe you are a leader, then it's time to change that mindset. Leadership expert Linda Patten will help you discover the powerful leader that lives within and teach you the leadership skills that will transform your business and your life. Stepping into your leadership brings reality to your vision, and leadership can be learned. Find out more on Leadership Stars every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Women's Channel.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that break, those 2 minutes just for you, that you really gave yourself that gift of being present and receiving, listening, being still. You will find amazing information and insight will come to us when we remember to pause, be still, and open to receiving. I'm going to invite you throughout the show. You're going to have these opportunities to do that so that you can pause, breathe, integrate, real time what is being shared with you, what's being spoken into your heart and spirit, what our amazing experts are sharing. This way, it will become part of you as you go back out into the world. Instead of it being something eventually someday you add to your list to do, you're actually going to be able to incorporate this powerful information into your life real time. So as we come back and connect back into each other, I wanted to have a deeper conversation with our guests. And we're going to start with Bron. And I wanted to share a little bit about her formal background so you have that information. You got to hear from her on a heart level as we explored connection. But let me share a little bit of her formal background. So Bron Williams is the founder and director of Backstory Consultancy. She is a creative communicator with a background in education and non-for-profit organizations. She is passionate, and you're going to hear this, she is passionate about you connecting into the power of your story. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Bron Williams to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Excited to have you joining us today. And to start our conversation, I love to know why. Why is this work of helping people step into the power of their story? Why is that personally so important to you?
Oh, I've always liked stories. As a child, I would watch movies on a Saturday afternoon with my dad. We watched all the B-grade war movies and comedies and whatever was on the television, starting off in black and white and then moving to colour as colour television came to Australia. So it was the whole idea of story has always fascinated me, and then moving that into how movies are constructed and what they do, and understanding that it's not just the story that you can see being played out on the screen that is important, but it's also the backstory. What has happened before a character actually sets foot on the stage or into the screen, and how that really informs what that character is going to do through the movie. Sometimes you only get hints of that as the story unfolds, and then just slowly, as I grew to adulthood and things changed in my own life, I started to realize that I had a backstory, and that the things from my backstory, the things that had happened in my past, were impacting my present and were influencing the decisions that I made and how I moved forward. And just wanted to start exploring that.
No, I love this, because sometimes we're watching movies or we're even experiencing a program, an event, or something in our lives, and we can forget there's a whole story in life that happened before we entered the scene or before that camera started rolling, and that does, in fact, affect how the story plays out, how the character explores what is happening in the show. And it's the same thing in our lives, that what has happened before can affect how we are coming forward in our life now. That backstory is really important. So I love how you shared that. And I was just thinking as you were sharing, my husband, as we're watching movies and programs, he's always looking up those backstories, not just of the character, but also the actor. And he's always giving me that information as we're watching shows. So it's a lot of information to process, but it does create a richness in it.
It does, because that's what actors do, is they draw upon their own backstory to bring that to the character that they play. So it's almost like a double whammy. It's a wonderful thing that I think actors can do in bringing a really rich story to life.
Beautiful. So you shared a little bit about how you became interested in this. Do you mind sharing a little bit of your backstory? Because I know that's really impacts a lot of the work that you do today. So sharing a little bit of your own backstory that has truly impacted all that you're bringing to the world now.
Certainly. I alluded to it in my my heart response. I was in a domestic abuse situation for 28 years, and emotional abuse, very difficult to identify when I was in it. Just knew that the marriage was toxic, and, we tried to fix it, or I tried to fix it, because unfortunately my ex-husband didn't really think there was anything wrong. And, always thinking, if only I can get this right. And, of course, it takes more than one person to make a marriage or a partnership right. And so, just coming to grips with that and the impact that has had on my life, both negatively and positively, because our backstories are rich. And I often think of the fertile valleys near a river. They get covered in mud as the river floods, as the rain washes soil down from the mountains. And often we look at our lives and we see the mud that is coming and just think that it's awful. But it's out of that mud that the richness grows. That's why river valleys are so fertile, because they have that muddy times that adds to the depth of their soil. And so it is with our lives. It's the muddy times in which amazing things are birthed in us. It doesn't mean that those muddy times are pleasant, or that sometimes we wish they'd never happened. However, they do yield huge fruit, and that's what I've discovered. I just love the fact that I have learnt so much, and I've grown so much out of that experience.
Well, thank you for sharing so authentically with us and deeply. Do you mind sharing some of the beautiful fruit that has come? Because I know there are some superpowers that you discovered in your backstory and stepping forward.
Yeah, my superpower is courage. And I've been reflecting on that the last couple of days. The reason I've identified that is that since I left my marriage, and that's 12 years now, I've had so many people say to me, "Bron, you're so brave." And I have often responded, "Oh, gosh, sometimes being brave is the only option," because that to me seems like you just have to keep stepping forward into something new. But I've realised that I was also brave to stay in the marriage for that long. I was committed to my marriage. I worked really hard at it, but it took courage to stay there and to continue to be hurt, because I wanted to provide a stable place for my sons. I wanted to be committed to my marriage. It then took courage to leave. That was the most courageous thing I've done, is to sit across the table from my ex-husband and say, "I'm leaving." And then when he said no, to say yes. That took huge courage. And then the physical leaving, setting up a new life, facing all the challenges that come from reinventing yourself when you're 50, starting again literally from scratch, and just continuing to move forward into new things.
Well, I applaud your courage and your bravery and stepping forward. And it is, I think it's a very courageous act to start to figure out who we are now and what are we becoming, and being willing to let that unfold and embrace that. And you've been doing that for 12 years now, right? You said 12 years?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just celebrate that. I acknowledge that. And it's also something for anyone listening today that you're looking at having to step forward, having to reinvent yourself. You're taking those steps. Know that that is a courageous act and worthy of celebration. So I just want to acknowledge that and celebrate that, because I think sometimes we get so busy in the doing, we don't stop, pause, and celebrate that. So we're acknowledging and celebrating that with you. And also those listeners, thinking for a little bit in that mud, what are some of the things that you are learning that you did receive? What are some of the gifts in that? Because I find in my own life, those really hard times, those difficult things that we go through and step forward in, there are some gifts and silver lining, and we start to learn we are stronger than we know, more capable than we realize. And sometimes it's in those difficult times that we discover that. Is there anything else you would like to add, Bron? This is such a rich conversation. Anything else on your heart?
To trust yourself. I need to remind myself that almost on a daily basis, to trust yourself, to back yourself, because you do actually have everything within you that you need. You've just got to find it.
Underlined. Listeners, take that in. Breathe that in deeply. Beautiful. And Bron has actually lovingly prepared a beautiful gift for each of you. And I wanted to give her an opportunity to share a little bit about it. I'll let you know how to find it and access it. But Bron, would you mind sharing about the beautiful gift you've prepared for our listeners today?
Certainly. What I would like to offer any of the women who are listening is a 30-minute free consult with me. This is a discovery consult. In this time, we will start to explore what maybe are your superpowers, what in your past you may need to own and embrace, so that you can start the journey from survivor to thriver to taking your backstory and turning it into your superpower.
Beautiful, because, Bron, I'm just thinking this is such a generous gift, and it is not a solo journey, and Bron is offering to walk beside you and support you in that, and finding the richness and finding the power in your backstory. So thank you for making that gift available. I truly appreciate it.
That's fine. Pleasure.
Listeners, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, remember, it's actually 2 minutes just for you to think about what's being spoken into your heart and spirit. Really process, breathe deeply, and receive. And for those of you that felt that pull in your heart that you'd really like to have that deeper conversation with Bron, I'm going to let you know how to do that. You go to radiogiftswithanas.net. It's radiogiftswithanas.net. Enter your name and email address so we can stay in touch. Scroll down to today's date, which is May 1st, and you will see Bron's picture, a description of her gift, and you can click on it and say, yes, you would like to receive that, and she'll be happy to get that over to you and help you connect in to schedule a time. So as we go to our next commercial break here, take a moment to pause, feel in if that gift will be of support to you. I encourage you to take action on that, but make sure to come back as we continue our conversation. Look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
This is the Voice America Women's Channel, where your success is limitless.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Relationship issues Anxious? Parenting challenges? No more. Learn to live your best life. Tune into Straight Talk with top therapist, relationship, and anxiety expert Sandra Reish. Learn to transform your challenges into effective solutions. Whether it's relationships, parenting, anxiety, or other traps, Sandra will show you how you can live the life of your dreams. Listen live every Thursday afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on the Voice America Health and Wellness Channel.
Have you had a chance to check out Voice America's online magazine and blog, Press Pass? If you love our hosts and shows, check out articles that give an even deeper perspective. Plus topics about health and fitness, movie reviews, philosophy, business tips and tactics, spirituality, positive thought, current events, and even more about your favorite host. It's just a click away at vapresspass.com. That's vapresspass.com. VA Press Pass by Voice America. All access, all the time.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation. Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes that you got to pause, breathe, receive all that is here for you today. And I wanted to continue our conversation. We've been talking about backstory and how with that you can learn so much about yourself, including tapping into some of the gifts that have come with that and some of your superpowers that you can bring and choose to bring those forward in your life. And when we opened our show, we were talking about leadership and empowerment and how can we bring forward those things we are called to bring forward in life. And so I felt like it's really important that we look at the backstory, and now we're going to look at that how do we bring it forward part with Linda. So let me share a little bit about Linda. Linda Patten is a leadership expert, a successful entrepreneur, founder of Dare to Lead leadership training. She's trained thousands of men and women to step into their natural leadership gifts and roles. She's built teams, helped them build teams as well, and achieve their vision for a better world. She's absolutely passionate about helping you create the change that you want to bring to the world. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Linda Patten to the show. Welcome! Yay!
Thank you, Rebecca. It's a joy to be here as always.
You're welcome, Linda. And sometimes I call her my Linda. Linda and I have been friends for a number of years, so yes. I know you all are in for a great treat. So I'm excited to bring you in, and she's also one of our fellow hosts. So welcome, Linda.
Thank you. It's like I said, it's interesting being on this side of the microphone.
Exactly. We were talking about that, especially when you're a leader of leaders like Linda is. She's like, well, I'll follow your lead, Rebecca. And I said, okay. But when you're used to leading, that can be difficult. Yes. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, I'd love for us to start our conversation with why. Why is this work of helping people bring their visions forward and lead them forward? Why is that so important to you personally?
Rebecca, I think a lot of it has to do with Okay, I did a lot of work in network marketing. And one of the things I always found interesting was that women would come in and say, my why is I want $645 so my daughter can go to private school and I want to change the world. Mm. And those two don't relate. And I got to a place of we're not stepping into our movements. We're not stepping into the change the world that we want to do because we can't define it. We don't know what it looks like. And in a lot of respect, we don't feel empowered to be able to take the actions that we need to in order to bring that change into the world. And women oftentimes, too, are reluctant to even step into that. We've talked about this before.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That we're afraid. Our gender heritage says you got to be perfect. You need to know 100% of the issues, the concerns, what you're going to do before you even start. You have to support. You can't stand out there and be in front. You have to support. And those kinds of things. And it really gets in the way of us stepping into the changes that we want to see in the world.
Yes. Well, I thank you. And I can feel your passion and the energy behind it, that you're really committed to helping people through this and really helping them step into that leadership. Like, let's not shy away from this. Let's not take the back stage here. How can we bring these things forward? And there were a couple of things you shared in your why this matters to you that I'd love for you to expand on a little bit. And one of them was this fear of leadership. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that a little bit, particularly women, where this fear of leadership, and how can we perhaps overcome that?
I'd love to, Rebecca, because it's a passion of mine as well. Women
so passionate.
I know. Reluctant women are reluctant leaders. They almost put up a cross and say, no. I never want to be tainted with that title. And some of it has to do with who they see as leaders, which oftentimes are men. And men have a whole different way of leading. They believe that if I know 10% of the job, I can go ahead and do it, and I'll just bull my way through it. And they can also get away with command, which we as women can't. So we look at that and we go, I don't want to be that leader. I want to be a different kind, but I don't know what that looks like. Unfortunately, too, we're really afraid of making mistakes with leadership. I'll ruin somebody's life if I step into leadership and I don't do it right. I don't do it 100% perfectly. I will ruin their lives. And I've asked people very clearly, so when you got married, did you get a manual that said this is how you run this marriage? The answer obviously is no. Otherwise, we would not have any divorce because we would all have the perfect marriage. We all make mistakes in marriage. We do the same thing with our kids. Again, the obstetrician did not, at the moment of birth, hand you a manual and say, here, this is how you raise your child. Although Dr. Spock did try to do that in the 50s. And we make mistakes. We're human. It's perfectly okay as long as you learn from them, move from there, and if you need to, let your people know, I made a mistake. I won't do it again. I've learned from that. And I think that's really, really critical because we as women lead every day.
Yes.
And we lead in so many different ways in our personal lives, our lives with the church, with school, at work, wherever it might be, and we don't even think about it. We naturally step into it. It's just when somebody says, oh, will you lead this? That we go, oh, no, I couldn't possibly do that.
Exactly. And I want to just pause for a moment. You've shared some really great information and things for us to all be thinking about, that one, we can define and step forward as a leader in a different way, maybe than how we've observed leaders around us, that it is okay to make mistakes, learn, and grow. By golly, we don't have to be perfect.
Absolutely.
And we can keep stepping forward. That's freeing and empowering. And this acknowledgement that many of us are leading and organizing and running things, we may just not always recognize it, that we're doing that, but that is leadership too.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to have this tie into empowerment, because to me, just knowing that information, breathing that in, takes some of the weight off of leadership and feels empowering. I'd love for you to define how you define empowerment and how this ties into our conversation around leadership.
Okay, let me start with a quote from Bill Gates. And the funny part is this quote starts with, in the next century, because he did it in the 1900s and now it's 2000, leaders will be those who empower others. So even he recognized the need to empower the people that you lead, the people that you work with, and the people who are in your cohort group. So I say that empowerment gives people the skills, the resources, the authority, the opportunity, the motivation, while holding them responsible and accountable for their results.
Beautiful. I love that, because so often I was just thinking when I was in corporate land, sometimes I was given the responsibility but not the authority
Yes.
to get those things done. And that became very disempowering and frustrating. It would shrink a little bit. But when you were given the authority too, and that responsibility, you could just take things to a whole nother level. Oh, I love how you're tying all of that together.
So, Rebecca, can I tell just a real quick story?
Sure. We're going to go to break here soon, so I just want to make sure you're mindful of the time. But yes, I would love to hear it.
You're talking about authority and responsibility. Working for a bank, I ran a department. I had the responsibility and the authority for an over $1 million budget. I could buy up to $1 million worth of training programs, but I couldn't approve a $3.50 parking ticket from one of my people. Now, does that make any sense? So it's not only giving the authority, but it's giving the proper authority. And I think that's really important.
Well, having it line up and make sense it's absolutely powerful. So I was thinking both as leaders, when we're called to lead and bring something forward, but also for those that we're leading, making sure we're kind of checking in on that. And once in a while, just making sure things are lining up in an appropriate way. Well, also, as we get ready to go to our next commercial break here and really give our listeners time to kind of pause and reflect, is there something around leadership or empowerment you would like to have them reflect on?
Well, one of the things that I think is so very important is you have a vision of where you're going and where you're taking these people. When was the last time you shared it with them so they knew where they were going, and were they still committed to it and feeling empowered to make it happen?
Beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. So let's be thinking about that, and even within ourselves, because we have many parts within ourselves too. We sometimes call them committees within ourselves. That vision as well, and checking in and making sure there's alignment. So if right now, if you are leading others, let's think about that and sharing that vision, making sure we're on the same page and still inspired by it, and even internally that we are as well. So as we go to this next commercial break, I invite you to take these 2 minutes to really think about these things and see what information you discover. We'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
We're making it easier to listen to the Voice America Talk Radio Network wherever you go. In addition to listening live, you can check out information about your favorite talk show hosts, discover new talk show personalities, add shows to your list of favorites, and listen to all of our show archives on demand, all from your iOS, Amazon Kindle, or Android device. Download it from the Apple App Store, Amazon, or Google Play, and get ready to tune in. The Voice America mobile app, powered by Aircast.
The Voice America Women's Channel.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that you had the opportunity to really reflect on it. When was the last time you shared that vision, that you checked in to make sure what you're leading and bringing forward, those who are supporting you, and part of that, there is an alignment and a common vision that is seen. And even within ourselves, so important to check in. It's so easy to just keep moving forward and doing things. I find it is more difficult to remember to pause, listen, and check in. But when we do, we're actually able to tap back into our why in powerful ways, and we're able to more effectively bring forward all that we are called to bring forward. So I want to thank you all for leaning into our conversations today. I hope that you've gained some great ideas and tips and ahas that you can take forward with you. I wanted to remind you of a few resources that can also support you on your journey. So one we mentioned earlier, which is radiogifts.net. So radiogifts.net, a net full of multiple gifts. And this is actually a library of resources to support you on your journey. They are free, and it is our gift of multiple gifts to support you. So I invite you to take a look, put in your name and email address so we can stay in touch and peruse all the beautiful resources that can support you on your journey. The other tool that I would like to mention or resource is a television network. We have a television network called RHG, my initials, RHG TV Network.com. And every week we're releasing multiple shows and programming to support you on your journey. And it's something that you can play on demand. So those things that resonate with you, or you're wanting encouragement on, or another thought or perspective on, you can click on. Because what I can tell you is that life is not a solo journey. I've mentioned that a couple times in the show, but we forget. And it is such a rich journey when we're willing to let others pour into us and walk beside us on our journey. So I invite you to deeply explore all of those tools and resources to support you on your journey. And when we allow others to walk beside us and to support us, we're able to have an even bigger impact and pour into others. So I invite you to do that and build that rhythm of pausing and receiving into your life. And I asked both of my guests as we were getting ready to go back out into the world if there was a final thought or idea or tip that was on their heart to share with you. And they both leaned in and said yes. So I would love to have them share. Bron, do you mind sharing what was on your heart?
My tip has two parts. Mm-hmm. The first is to own your past. Sometimes we want to shy away from the difficult things, but it is part of our story, so own it. And then the second thing is to know that you can be powered by your past. It does not have to be a heavy anchor that you're dragging around for you.
I love that. It can actually give us wings.
Or sails.
Yeah, oh, yes, or sails. Beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Really important reminders. Linda, how about you?
Well, Rebecca, being an overachiever, I had 10, but I'm going to give you two quotes instead. The first one's from Brian Tracy, and he says, "Become the kind of leader that people would follow voluntarily, even if you had no title or position." And the second one is from John Quincy Adams, who says, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader."
That is so beautiful. Let's all breathe those in. Beautiful. Well, thank you both, Linda and Bron. I so appreciate you sharing so richly and deeply with us today. And listeners, I thank you for joining us and letting us connect in with you, heart, soul, and spirit, and pour into you. And I celebrate that you have carved this time out for you, that you have given yourself the opportunity to be poured into and to receive. And I think that is something worth celebrating. I think we forget to celebrate that we paused and we listened and we received. So congratulations. I celebrate that with you. And as you go back out into the world, I want to invite you to bring this information with you. Bring those insights with you. Remember that we are all here on purpose and for a purpose. Each of you are beautifully and wonderfully made, and I believe for such a time as this that you are absolutely needed just as you are. And I want to encourage you to be willing to claim your backstory, as Bron has shared with you, and really stand in your gifts, stand in your power, to really become that leader that is willing to inspire and uplift others, willing to encourage them and help them move forward in powerful ways. We each have that opportunity to pour into others, to echo out into the world those things that matter most to us. So I want to invite you to do that on purpose and with purpose, that wherever you go, whatever you do, may you always be willing to bloom where you are planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone. I look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.